Should be live, and we'll give you a minute to find the stream, folks. If you're viewing in syndication, leave us a comment and let us know you are. And yeah, super excited. It's Friday, first real frost in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Love the cold weather. It's a great opportunity to inhale additional oxygen. So I'll be back to talk about weather and space weather in just a moment. Meanwhile, I'm making eggs because I need it as I recover. Great recovery food, them their eggs. Got to hit the grocery store soon here, but until then, frying some. Eggs and grapes, that's breakfast. If you're mad about the sugar content of grapes, then too bad. Too bad. If you're worried about sugar, too bad. Sugar, we athletes require it, so don't get mad about sugar. It is very much necessary for high performance. By the way, I'm loving these Under Armour shoes that I bought. They're only $50. They are so good. I don't know what model it is, but they are spectacular. They might be the best running shoes I've ever owned. And I've been running serious middle distance stuff since 96, 95, somewhere around there. Going to be back to world-class speed middle distance times here in the next couple of weeks. Of course, my favorite thing to run is always the hilly off-road course. I mean, that's my thing. So, no bike riding today because getting ready for an event tomorrow. Tomorrow is Pink Dress for the Rogue North Hash House Harriers. So super excited about that. We've been promoting it. If you're not familiar with hashing, it's a part scavenger hunt, part orienteering, part drinking contest, part social gathering, part running race, part very silly activity. It comes from an old military tradition. Special forces, they want to know the lay of the land. And so they do these events where you run and drink. I mean, to sum it up, you run and drink. And you don't have to drink alcohol, you can drink water or whatever. And yeah, you may have a local hash house near you. If you've got a running community, you may be able to connect to your local hash house. Not the cannabis concentrate, folks. Hashing. It refers to corned beef hash. And hash house harriers are the dogs. It's the sport is based on the tradition of the fox and the hare, and the reason we're called harriers is because that is a type of hunting dog similar to a beagle. So that's a little bit about hashing. And basically, the way it works is if you're military personnel and you're out drinking at 3 a.m. and you're blasted and the base gets destroyed. Let's say the base gets leveled. I'll get to your comments here in a moment, and thanks for leaving comments. Let's say your base gets destroyed while you're out drinking. You're off base, and your base gets just leveled. And let's say there's nobody left. You're the only person left in the entire battalion, in the entire company. And you realize that this has happened on your way back, and now you have to escape. And you might be behind enemy lines. Now the lines might have changed while you're at the bar. You have to know how to get out of there, right? So that's sort of part of what the reasoning is for it. And so it is a military tradition. And again, it is based on the fox and the hare. So if you're not familiar with it, it it is interesting. And so, for me as a paid cyclist in the off season, I need cross training, and hashing is a great cross training because it's our hash house focuses on running trails, and the Lehigh Valley has an endless trail network that you'll never complete. I'll probably never complete it. There are so many trails in the Lehigh Valley that it just goes on and on and on. Oh, I've turned into a French fry. There we go. That's a little more normal. So yeah, first frost here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk briefly Earth weather and space weather. We do have a coronal hole high-speed stream on the way, so that'll be a thing to talk about. So first, Earth weather. Not sure what the rest of the forecast is here, but we got legit frost. I had to scrape the car this morning before I took Smash Staff to work. And what do we have here? Thanks for leaving comments, everybody who has. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to press the subscribe button. And don't forget to press like. I see 25 viewers and only 1 like. So, Kia Kaha says, I'm a circumcised vegan. We are going to Africa to protest a Stop the Lions Killing Buffalo. Want to come? Protesting the Stop the Lions Killing Buffalo. I don't know what I think about that. But thanks for asking. Yeah, I do want to come, but I'm a little busy, so I can't really go to Africa. I would get involved in such a cause if it was a good one, but stop the lions killing. But you mean you're going to fight the lions to stop them from killing the buffalo? That sounds like a terrible idea. Dottie, thanks for your feedback, Dottie. Another question. I've always wanted to know, what is it about older gentlemen wanting to wear Lycra and ride bikes together and get coffees? Well, because cycling is great, and it's the best lifetime sport, and it's a great utility. It's great for fitness, and it's a great social sport because we draft each other when we're on the road. So, yeah. I mean, it's younger gentlemen ride bikes too, though, so I don't know what you mean really by older gentlemen. Are you in and maybe it's because the older gentlemen can afford bikes. I don't know. That is part of the sport. One of the challenges of the sport, and it's only gotten worse in the past 5 years, is the price of bikes. They are way, way too expensive. Hey, Dottie, why don't you get bent like an iron bar? How about that, Dottie? Not interested, Dottie? Why don't you go find somebody who isn't hot? How about that? Jerry says, I want to ask because I'm new. Why can't kids do anything like parents? Because they lack the skill, talent, and training of their parents. What? It's a weird question. All right, so anyway, yeah, we'll talk Earth weather, and then we're going to come back and talk space weather. So Earth weather, what do we got in the U.S.? Let's take a quick look here at the radar. I'll turn the camera around so y'all can see. There you go. There's the U.S. radar. That is radar. Well, let me press refresh here. I think we're missing data. There we go. That looks like a radar. Radar.weather.gov. So you can see we've got some stuff around Florida and the Carolinas. Some rain moving through Illinois here down toward the southeast. Looks like some more cold air from Canada pushing its way through. Let's take a brief look at that. So here you've got the pressure map. Oh, we've got a huge anticyclonic system here. So check it out, massive anticyclone. You see this clockwise rotation. That is an anticyclone, meaning a high pressure zone. So this is very much in control of the area. This is why you'll see cloudless skies over places like New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey. You'll see very low cloud counts here as a result of that anticyclonic system. So clear skies. And then, of course, if we look at the temperatures, you'll be able to see that cold, massive air that I was talking about rushing down from Canada. So that's what's creating the fronts that we're seeing. Let's take a look at temperature here. There is our temperature map. And there you can see some colder air. So oftentimes those high pressure zones are associated with cold air systems. They'll often push around the less massive, more moist air. Great question about the Eagles Cowboys. Geez, I think the 53 Eagles will beat the Cowboys because I'm a Chuck Bednarik person. So yeah, Chuck the Clutch number 60, the legendary Chuck Bednarik, the last of the 60 Minutemen. He would contribute sufficiently that that Cowboys team would get smoked. And I was born in '76, so look, Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, rather, dude was no joke. I don't think they had Tony Dorsett yet in 1976. I think he was a little later than that, like 81 or something. 82, I think, was Tony Dorsett's debut. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm going to show you the water vapor map as well, because the water vapor map is going to show you a little bit about what's happening with the weather across the U.S. If you're talking about international weather, maybe we'll cover that, but I doubt it. And there you can see that. See right up here. You zoom in a little bit. I'm going to actually change the view here. So here's this massive air spilling down across the Great Lakes. Keep in mind, folks, the Great Lakes accelerate winds. So lakes, because they are flat, they have this tendency to accelerate winds. So here you can see this system right up here. It's making its way across Michigan right now. That's some very, very cold air. That's a deep freeze, actually. That is some legit Arctic air spinning associated with that system. So there's the zoomed out view of that. So we're talking about this area right up here. So right up in this area here, this area just making its way actually across Wisconsin right now. So Wisconsin is going to get very cold throughout the day, and the skies will clear. Shout out to Neighbor Harold Broflovsky. What's interesting is people think that because I'm a cyclist that I don't smell good, but I actually feel good and smell better. So, I mean, that's a life goal, right? Feel good, smell better. So when we come back, we're going to talk about space weather. I got to get my eggs because they should be just about done now. And yeah, because basic survival trumps these live streams. And like I said, I got stuff I got to do tomorrow. Important stuff. So it's a charity event. It's called the Pink Dress Hash. So it's located in Slatington, Pennsylvania at the Skeet Club. So if you're a local, if you're viewing this from Lehigh Valley, come join us. October 11th this year is the annual fundraiser for the Rogue North Hash House Harriers. So that'll be the event. I'll be wearing a pink dress. Like 60 people will be largely wearing pink dresses. It's not required, but it's encouraged. And yeah, so the pink dress event is tomorrow, and everybody's super excited. The culmination of a lot of work. And it's to benefit breast cancer. There are actually 2 members of the club that are currently receiving breast cancer treatments. So I suppose, the point is every penny raised goes to breast cancer in one way or another. So whether it's research, a foundation, or actual club members is really irrelevant to me because it's all about fun anyway. I do about 3 or 4 charity events every year. I usually do a Dream Come True ride, which is now called the Monkey Knife Fight. Started doing that again just this year in 2025, and also used to do another Dream Come True ride, and then of course the Donut Derby I always do, or I will always do it. Excuse me while I shove eggs. Excuse me while I inhale eggs. I know. Air is much better for inhalation than eggs. But just bear with me a minute here because this is a crucial part of the day. Getting a little too cold. A little too cold here at the Smash News Network. Please busted name of news. So yeah, what's going on with you viewers? Any exciting plans for this weekend? We have the 50th anniversary event on Sunday, so October 12th. October 12th, come out to the Lehigh Valley Velodrome, the Valley Preferred Cycling Center, and celebrate the 50 years of track racing in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Many of the Hall of Famers will be there doing a little ride afterwards. Of course, I will be there as well. So yeah, should be a very interesting weekend. It's going to be a short weekend because of all those events, but it will be packed with fun. Oh my God. Eggs are the best. And by the way, here in Lehigh Valley, we don't have the same price fluctuation as the rest of the country has because we live in poultry country. So not only do we have all kinds of other things that are grown locally where we don't see price inflation, eggs are cheap here compared to the rest of the country. I mean, there are poultry farms all over the place. And so, hey, you got to capitalize on your local capabilities, right? All right, space weather in about 2 minutes. Just got to chug an energy drink. And then I'll have my grapes. I'll be chilling with my grapes. Oh, yes. What's in your breakfast? I'm taking no supplements today. I'm in full recovery mode. And I'm back to about 95% health. So that's pretty good. One last thing, energy drink. If you consume energy drinks, let us know which ones in the comments. Smash staff and I have been enjoying these Celsius products, so we think they're pretty good. They did upset our stomachs the first couple times we tried them, but then, since then, not bad. So yeah, I don't know, just a weird like breaking in period for our gut there. So they are low calorie, but it's they're not full of there's no aspartame in them. I mean, not that aspartame's bad for you anyway. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. They seem all right. Seems a little weird to have a low calorie energy drink, but I mean, whatever. It's, you know, basically having an energy drink with no sugar in it is kind of a strange thing. Since the only thing you really use as energy is glucose. I mean, yeah, you can burn fat, you can burn protein, and guess what? You make it into glucose. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, so bottoms up. And then on to space weather. I don't think we had any big flares. I didn't see any alerts. Did you join us over on Twitter? Has anybody named that filament from yesterday? We named filament number 2 after Tamitha Scove's space weather woman. But the other 2 remained unnamed. So it'll be interesting to see if they're still intact, if they've ejected, because if they have ejected, there's a high likelihood that they're headed our way. So fingers crossed for that. And let's get back to the Smash Network studio. Going to close the door here for a little bit of less bird disruption at our bird feeder. All right, so yeah, sunspot number is pretty low. I think we're at about 120 sunspots right now, but we'll break down all the important stats here. Right, so we've got cosmic ray flux remains at a 20-year low. I mean, I don't even have to look that up. As far as the HUXT forecast, do we have any Earth-directed CMEs? Well, the answer is no, but there, like I said, there is a coronal hole high-speed stream on the way, so in about 36 hours, I think, we'll see the density wave from that. Sunspot number is currently at... Oh, sunspot number is way down to... what is that? 50, 60, 78. 78 sunspots is the sunspot number. The radio flux is at 180. Wow, really high radio flux. That doesn't look right. Oh, there we go. 122. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux is at 122. So that's a little more sensible. Pretty active radio flux there for such a low sunspot number. Solar wind is currently pretty nominal here, 360 kilometers per second approximately, and about a 1.5 proton per cubic centimeter density. Proton flux is flatlined. No big solar flares. There was a C-class event in the past 24 hours. It was only a C2.3, as you can see there. Any new CMEs that haven't been modeled yet by HUXT forecast? I doubt it. And let's move on to filaments. So solar filaments are something we always cover because they can eject. And so that's why we have the Name That Filament challenge on Twitter. It might allow somebody to see one of our tweets every once or twice per year. And it looks like the three nameable filaments are still intact. So here are the filaments. And there you go. These are coronal plasma filaments, folks. These dark regions you see. These are absorption features. So this shows the hydrogen alpha spectra. This is a very specific portion of the electromagnetic spectrum there. I don't recall exactly what the wavelength is, but it is looking at hydrogen. So the sun's mostly made of hydrogen. And these dark regions, these are areas that are much more complex. And they are suspended by the solar magnetic fields. So these areas here, these are actually very, very large, probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of kilometers in height above the sun's photosphere, and indeed above the sun's, the photosphere where sunspots occur, and indeed the solar corona. So these are going to be bumpy regions, and these things can all blast off and cause geomagnetic storms on Earth. Things like mid-latitude aurora are made more likely. So neither of those have, none of those three nameable filaments have erupted. They are all still right there. This one here is called the Tamitha Scove filament. If you want to name either of these two, follow the hashtag #NameThatFilament on Twitter, and you can name them as well. So here, name solar filaments after your friends, your foes, or even yourself. Here's the coronal hole situation. We've got South Pole oriented. Earth is in a South Pole oriented magnetic heliosphere sector. There it is. And no North Pole sector here in sight. We do see some activity happening there around the eastern limb, so there may be some new sunspots forming. Let's take a look at that next. So here are the past couple of hours of the closest star, which is the most interesting one to look at if you're into stargazing. This is the one you should understand the most as it affects your daily life in all kinds of various ways. Let me get to your comments here as we see a bunch of comments. And yeah, oh wow, that's a lot of comments. All right, thanks for everybody who's left comments. Hey, happy birthday to your wife, Harold Broflovsky. Hey, Dottie, if you're a self-proclaimed hottie, I find it questionable. Questionable, Dottie. How many subscribers do you have, Dottie? Drop your Instagram in the comments, Dottie. I think you'll be okay. Peter Andre's haircut. I have no idea what you're talking about. Stupid stalker. I have no idea what you're talking about. Dottie's digging me. Yeah, chicks dig me. So, you've ever watched Seinfeld? I've got the Kavorka. The Kavorka. Harold was talking to Dottie, and she drinks hot dog water for a refreshment. Kia Kaha says, can you do a bike stream in a tornado? Probably. All right, Dottie. Yes, come join, Dottie. We want to see you at Pink Dress in Slatington tomorrow. Tomorrow in Slatington, Dottie. Jerry, what do you prefer, Dallas Cowboys or Tennessee Titans? Oh, geez. Do you wear Lycra to weddings, funerals, job interviews, etc.? Sometimes. Depends on what the job, wedding, or funeral are. Geez, you guys are ruthless in the comments. Ruthless, I tell you. Samantha doesn't live in America. Yeah, all right. Congrats on the cheap eggs, Samantha. The best way is to grow, have your own chickens, but yeah, cheap eggs. Cheap eggs are banging. So good. So easy to digest. Level up your life. Dottie's doing her daily rounds of trolling. Hey, I appreciate that, Dottie. But that's exemplary. You're doing a fine job. A fine job. All right. Let's see. The best deodorant, Harold, is used motor oil. You don't want to use new motor oil. It lacks all of those metal particles and stuff. Don't block me. I'm a woman. All right. Congratulations on being a woman, Fuel. All right. Look, we are out of here, folks. I don't think there's anything else to really cover. There is still a kind of a high likelihood of large solar flares here because, well, let me see if I can show you some better imagery here since the freaking. So here's a coronal hole. We're gonna see a density spike from this shortly. 195 angstroms is a good wavelength for that. That is ionized iron in the solar corona right there, folks. Yeah, that is this area right here, this dark region you see, this absorption feature, so to speak. That is where magnetic field lines are just open and just spreading out into space. That's called a coronal hole. And that is where we'll see a high-speed solar wind in about 2 days. So in about 36, we'll see a density spike. And then, and that's in the solar wind, which was measured about 1 million miles from Earth at Lagrangian point 1. And that's where we'll close things out. Again, there is some high likelihood of solar flares from this setting region down here. And oh, I know what I got to show. I got to show the magnetograms. So here we go. Let's go back to this main image. We'll briefly show some gong magnetograms. Here is El Taide's ground-based magnetograms. So these are not particularly complex sunspots. The most likely place for a large flare would be down here, this area here, but mainly this area in the southwest. So that setting region down there, that's the most likely place for a large flare, in my opinion. Been doing this a while. And here's our gong intensity image. Here's El Taide once again. No, we'll use Cerro Tololo, actually. So there's sort of the 677 nanometers wavelength. Sunspot number pretty low right now. This region looks like it is pretty stable. So yeah, no likelihood of really major solar space weather events. But, keep an eye on that frost, folks. Make sure you have the proper plants inside and so on. And it's about time to close this thing out. So thanks for tuning in, everybody who has. Make sure you press the like button, press share, especially if you're an influencer. We'll see you soon here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. Until next time, I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off.